What's good, everybody? I just want to give you a quick little warning. The rest of the video does not look as crisp and clean as it does now. As I was editing, I was like, man, I probably should have had this light on and stuff like that. So it's a little dark, but don't worry about it. You can still hear everything I'm saying. It's not even that dark. Just keep watching. You'll see what I mean. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Everybody, what is good, YouTube? Thank you for joining us again. Today is a great day. First and foremost, let me give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Eye to Eye Apparel. They got this clothing line right here. This is their first design. It says walk by faith. The faith is written in Braille, so if you get it, walk by faith, not by sight. Braille. Duh. So it's called Eye to Eye Apparel for that reason alone. Eye to eye. Some people are gonna get it, some people are not. I think I got another one around here somewhere. Got a white one as well. They got blue, white, and black. Walk by faith. Eye to eye. It's apparel. So if you see, it's like a lowercase I, the number 2, Roman numerals, then another I. Boom, boom. Right? I, 2, I. Genius. Anyways, today we are going to be talking about Kanye West visiting Lakewood Church with Joel Osteen. Oh my goodness, you guys have no idea. This is the reason why I had to do a YouTube video on this. Now, I understand some people are gonna question, like, I thought your YouTube video was about vlogs and stuff like that. Well, guess what? It's all about me. It's whatever I like to do, whatever I like to see. By the way, the sponsor, it's my shirt. It's my brand. I'm sponsoring myself. Absolutely believe it. So if you want to get a shirt, just message me, hit me up, let me know that you saw this on YouTube. I'll give you a nice little discount. I'll give it to you for $15. Normally it's $20. Give you a little $5 off, whatever like that. That's a great deal. Most people that are out here trying to sell their clothes, and they're putting some really high prices on new clothing lines and stuff like that. But this has great quality and it has a great message. So let me know if you want to cop. But back to the subject. Kanye West went to go visit Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood Church in Houston. Now, this is really cool because first and foremost, this is the first time that he was actually invited to a church, and not just any church, like a mega church. I'm talking about the type of church that is on Sirius XM. Joel Osteen is huge. Their church is actually in the old Houston Rockets Stadium. So that's just incredible as it is, because they already have a lot of people that show up to that church, as it is probably like 15 to 16,000 people. So let's get into it, a little bit of some of the details. Now, it kind of started off normal, a little bit like what they normally do, but they did start off this time with a little bit of spoken word, which is quite awesome. But before I actually get on that, Kanye West went to do Sunday service on a Friday at 2 prisons, 2 jails in Houston, and man, like, that's just incredible as is. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that kind of has something to do a little bit of what he mentioned later on in the sermon with the Q&A that he did with Joel Osteen. Excuse me. So on top of that, it kind of started normal, but they did add a little spoken word thing, which is cool. I'm not really big on spoken word, but I actually did like it. I'm trying to get into poetry a little bit more, like as in accepting it and appreciating it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of just think it's whatever, like it's cool, but it's not something like I'm really big on. But I do like it when you actually listen to the words and see how the guy put the words together, and he was talking about God and how we look at life. So that was really, really dope. That's how they started off. Then they kind of went into the regular Sunday service music and stuff like that. Came out with some dope jams as usual. They did a lot of songs from the Life of Pablo album, without obviously the swears and a lot of the lyrics, just more so like Father Stretch My Hands and Ultra Light Beam, of course. So he did stuff like that. And then what else happened? So then they kind of got into, what did I want to talk about specifically? Joel Osteen. Now, it seemed as if Joel Osteen was very transparent in this sermon. Like, I've listened to Joel Osteen many times before, and he has his own thing on Sirius XM. As I mentioned, you can look at his sermons online. They're usually like 30 minutes long, not even that long, and it just kind of looks like he's prior to this, it looks as if he's just kind of like used to what he's already gonna say. Obviously, he prepares his word before he goes up there, and he definitely mentioned that. But he was going off on a limb. Now, I also wrote down some notes because I'm that kind of YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody try to just talk to you off the dome and not even try to be prepared. And I'm gonna keep it natural, but I did write some notes down, and that's kind of like some of the things that I've noticed. So first and foremost, yeah, like they did the whole mixture of like different types of songs as well. They did like a mixture of R&B, hip hop, but they turned into like a gospel vibe, you know what I'm saying, and changed the words around so it could be a lot more gospel and more Christian subjective. Not a word, but maybe it is. Either way, you get what I'm trying to say. So it had more of a Christian content in the songs. You know, the lyrics weren't secular. They were Christian content, Christian lyrics. So Joel Osteen, he comes out, you know, with the unprepared message, and he had a few great key takeaways that I liked about it. Now, again, he was super transparent. He came right off the top with this, and the reason why I thought that this was special is because he had to. First of all, there are so many people that were coming to this Lakewood Church just for Kanye West. Now, this place is huge, so it can hold a whole lot of people. It was a free event. The tickets sold out in 7 minutes. And then people started trying to resell them. Of course, there's ticket scalpers out there, and they were trying to sell it up to $500. Now, I did look at some other YouTubers and stuff like that. There's this one bum. I forget his name. But he was such a jerk. He was a crappy dude. And he, you know, I don't want to swear because I have my mom and other people that watch this with and stuff like that. But later on, maybe I might be a little bit more of myself. But either way, this guy was such a bum. He was talking about, oh, no, I look like a thug. He was wearing a white button down and like a tie, you know, a white dude or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with dressing up. That's nothing. But he's like, oh, look at all these hoodlums. Look at all these gangsters. Look at all these thugs. Now we look thuggish. Took off his button down, threw on a t-shirt. I was like, oh, now we're thugs. And I'm like, dude, why are you even going to this? Like, if you have that mentality and you're coming in with that spirit, then why are you even showing up to this Christian, you know, gospel event? You know, these are people who are, yeah, they're coming to see Kanye, but they know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I'm saying? It's like they know that they're about to hear a word. They know that they might be open to hearing the gospel in some way, shape, or form. So that kind of like got me a little bent. But other than that, Joel Osteen was very transparent, and he has a lot of people who probably would have never came to church, and he mentions that many times where he's saying, you know, Kanye has a farther reach than I do in a lot of cases and with certain people. He's already famous. He already has a lot of following. He already has a lot of people who don't know Christ, who, you know, Joel Osteen's duty and his calling is to bring people to Christ, bring people to the church. But Kanye West, coming from the world and the secular side of the world and secular side of music, he's able to gravitate towards people who are fans of his, like myself, that will be more open to checking out church. You know what I mean? I always went to church, so it's not like a big thing for me. It wasn't like Kanye West made me want to go to church. But as a person who does go to church and a person that is a huge Kanye West fan, I'm talking about I'm a huge fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I got here? You know, I got the 700s, stuff like that. It's a dead stock pair if anybody wants to buy. I know these are just the mobs. Nobody cares about those. You know. Or maybe even the, you know, just the hospital blues, regular stuff like that. So, you know, I guess that doesn't really make me a fan of Kanye. I guess I'm just a fan of his shoes. Sorry for all the noise. God. Sorry for all the noise and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kanye. Huge fan of Kanye West. Huge fan. So, other than that, it's kind of like a lot of people came here just to see Kanye. But Joel Osteen, when he enjoyed the music so much, you could tell that, you know, God was in this place. The place was definitely anointed. The choir is obviously very talented, and, you know, they're very moving. If you've seen other Sunday services online and stuff, you can see the reaction of people and how people are responding to this. Even on the news, people are talking about this stuff. So Joel Osteen is just so excited. He's so happy. He's like, wow, this is great. Look at all these people enjoying the music. The music is so good and stuff like that. And it's a black choir bringing back some black, Baptist churchy music and stuff like that. I'm talking from way back in the day that a lot of people just don't really listen to nowadays. So it was cool. It was very cool. So Joel Osteen, back to get to my point, I'm gonna have to work on that. He says this. So he's like sharing his story about how he got involved in the ministry, and he's very transparent. He gives these different things these takeaways. One is not seeing a lot of progress, but you may be laying seeds for your kids. So he talks about how his dad actually started this church. There's about 90 people that they help. He was a preacher's kid, and the church grew and grew, and his father was getting sick, and his dad asked him if he can preach. One Sunday he was getting sick, and he was just like, hey, I'm just gonna stay in today, like, do you mind just preaching on Sunday? It was a Friday. Joel Osteen, at first he said no, then he called his dad back and said, I'll do it, and then he went and did it. And then his dad had to listen on the phone. They didn't have online and stuff back then, so he was listening on the phone, I guess, on speaker, whatever. And that was the last Sunday that his father lived. His dad died the following Friday. And then Joel Osteen knew that he would just be the pastor of the church, and he didn't want to announce it to anybody. He just, one Sunday at a time, he was just preaching, and he understood that people were coming to see his father, but he also knew that he couldn't be his dad. He tried to do everything like his dad. He looked up to his father a lot, which is great, but he's like, look, God called me for this, and so I have to be authentic. I have to be myself. So instead of trying to copy his dad and doing what allowed people to continue to follow him, his father at least, he knew that he had to do his own thing. And by him doing his own thing, more people start to show up, and now, Lakewood Church is what it is today, over 15,000 people, and I'm talking about just in the church alone, online and over the world, millions of people. So I thought that was a great takeaway. He was talking about just being yourself. He was talking about how, reaping seeds that are just, maybe for your kids, as I mentioned before. Sometimes it's like we feel like we're not seeing all the hard work that we're putting in. I know I'm one of those types of people where I'm always like, man, I know I'm pushing, I know I'm doing the best I can, I think that I'm doing all right, and I really be beating myself up because I'm just not seeing sometimes the results. But in reality, you may just be setting down the foundation for your generations to come after you, which I thought was pretty cool. But I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to let my kids see it only. I want to enjoy my life too. But then he was also talking about how being uncomfortable is good. He was mostly doing the media stuff. He was never really involved with the preaching aspect of it. He liked being behind the scenes, but he understood that if by him getting out of his comfort zone and getting uncomfortable, it allowed him to really grow. And a lot of times we don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like when God takes certain things out of our lives, whether it's losing a loved one, or losing a relationship, or losing a job. Those are types of things that can really beat somebody up and put us into very dark places. And I know because I've been there. But at the same time, it's like that's when you grow the most. That's like cultivating. It's like if you want to be fine wine, it's okay to tear out these grapes, these beautiful, sweet grapes that you thought that you would have loved as is, but you got to start smashing them and stomping on them and crushing them. And the more you take them and smash them and then you throw them in a little thing, now you have wine. You got to let it sit and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not really working in Italy in the field or anything like that making wine, but it's from a book that I read by T.D. Jakes called Crushing. So that's just kind of the purpose. That's the point. And it was crazy because even on Sunday I was listening to a word, and the lady was talking about how Peter was the rock, and it comes from the Greek word Petra. And then if you think about Petra, you think petrified, but then if you think petrified as the word of Peter, and then it's like the rock, it's like you take material that gets hard, and then as it gets hardened, it becomes something else. So that's just kind of whatever. It's like even diamonds and coal, whatever, under pressure. You heard all these different things before probably, right? So he was talking about that. He was talking about how people will stop liking you as God starts to promote you and stuff like that. So he was going on and on this tangent, almost like how I am right now. But the way how he was doing it, it was just so transparent. He was laughing. He was going off of subject. He kept coming back. He was just like, oh, yeah, you guys don't see this on TV, blah, blah, blah. So it was just so cool to just see Joel Osteen just at such a calm and natural state. Like, he's just a really cool dude. Before you just see him smile and he's blanking a lot, and he's like, and yeah, you know, you just gotta, he has that voice, and he's got that, you know, it just looks so like I don't even know. I don't know the word for it, but it kind of just seems as if it's not real as much. Like, it's definitely real. It's definitely real and authentic. So, like, you know, I don't want to use that it's not real, but it just seems a little bit, you're probably thinking of the word that I should be saying right now. So yes, that one, or whatever, like that. It's overly prepared or whatever, like that. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, so that was Joel Osteen's part. So now let's just get to the Kanye West part. Now this happened, so, you know, Joel Osteen was only speaking because they were doing the tithes and offering and stuff like that. This is right before they did the tithes, and then they went back into the music and stuff like that. I don't even know when Kanye eventually ended up coming out. I had to watch them both, like, separate. Once I was really waiting for Kanye the whole time. I ended up watching the entire choir singing. I watched all of Joel Osteen speaking. Then the choir came back on, and then it was over. I was like, what? So I had to look up Kanye West Q&A, and then I found it. So they spoke for about 20 minutes and stuff like that. So the Kanye West part of it all, that is very important. So let's get this right. So Kanye, he mentions how, you know, the Life of Pablo was supposed to be a gospel album and stuff like that. He talks about issues with Christians that, you know, weren't really pulling him closer to Christ. And I think that was very important, because it's like we have people around us all the time, especially friends and stuff like that. And it seems like a lot of us, especially as Christians, and I'm not saying us as Christians because maybe you're not a Christian, but even just people who are doing well, maybe it takes one step, you know what I mean? And eventually you get to a point where you're talking about Jesus Christ himself and you're really speaking the gospel. But, you know, it's just like, why are we so afraid to just bring up God or bring up good things around our friends? And then that kind of just led into, you know, Kanye West going into another part where he was talking about how, you know, let me make sure I don't want to go out of order. So cool how you told OG not to add. Oh yeah, there was a part where Kanye was like telling a dude, like, yo, don't be, you know, adding those ad libs, because there was a part where, you know how you be in church and people be saying stuff that is deep, and somebody be like, go ahead, preacher, all right now, you tell him, brother. Like, so Kanye was like, hey, look, man, like, you know, you're gonna help me, you're gonna make me lose my train of thought. Like, when God is speaking to me, you know, I just need to be completely silent. And I thought that was very, you know, it was kind of scary at first, because I was like, oh shoot, here you go. But it was necessary, you know what I mean? And I thought that was all right. But other than that, he talks about how the strip club is pretty much sex trafficking. So that's kind of like where my point was earlier. It's just kind of like, we're so quick to advertise all these other things, but it's like we're slow to talk about things that are good. And I was actually having this conversation earlier with a buddy of mine and his cousin and stuff. It's just kind of like, you know, it's just like, especially when we speak, you know, culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got all these different artists out here that are promoting negative things. And you know what I'm saying? And call it what you want. You can say it's not negative, or these people are just being themselves, but it's like, come on, man, call it what it is. You're acting ratchet, you're acting crazy, you're acting out of you know, a certain way that you just wouldn't be proud of. And I even say it like, you know, imagine if your daughter grew up to be just like how you're being right now. Are you okay with that? If your son was to get or marry a girl that's acting the way you're acting when you're out, would you think that he could trust this girl? Do you think that this is a girl that he should be bringing home to his mom? And vice versa, ladies, like, the type of dude that you seeing out here acting like that, you want your son to be like this? You want your son to act that kind of way? You want your son to treat women the way that, you know, you see these dudes are treating women, or the dudes that you think are attractive? Like, that's cute, you know what I'm saying? Being a gun-toting, you know, pants sagging, talking crazy, like, that's cute to you? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it seems like you're a square if you're doing the right thing, if you got a job, if you're not scamming, you know what I'm saying, and you look clean cut and you're doing your thing. You know, sometimes that's just not cute to some people. They would much rather you look dirty and be out here acting wild, and that's supposed to be cute. But, you know, I don't judge. At the end of the day, you can't judge anybody. And, hey, we all got a little ratchet bone in our body, and it comes out every now and then. But it's just like, if we can encourage people to kind of start being better rather than putting themselves out there, it would be a lot better. So don't take it from me. You know, Kanye said himself, he was like, when you go to Vegas or you go into LA and you see these billboards that have strip clubs, you know, that's sex trafficking. It's literally sex trafficking, because when the strip club closes, the owner says, so how much traffic did we get today? And if you don't believe that, I mean, you're crazy. You got people that are, sex sells. Like, they're out here, they're doing pretty much the same thing. It's just, like, what's the difference, really? You know what I mean? Physically not doing stuff or whatever, like, oh, you get it how you live? Like, come on now. So, but that's for a different conversation, so I ain't gonna get too deep into that. But as you can see, I'm very passionate about this situation, because this is the type of stuff I've been talking for a minute now. And then for Kanye to come out of nowhere and be on this wave, and I'm a huge fan like this, bro, I'm trying to tell you, like, when I meet Kanye, he's gonna definitely, you're gonna see, like, the vibe is good, the vibe is there. So he talks a lot about going to church as a kid, and one thing he mentions about his dad and stuff like that, and his mom passed away, if you didn't know, and that's reflecting in the 808s and Heartbreak album as well, after his breakup. I don't know who he broke up with at the time, but that was the first album I ever bought of Kanye's. And if you open it with, remember when they had the books and stuff, so if you open it, it's like a huge poster of actually him and his mom, I believe, at the Grammys. So rest in peace to Kanye's mom, even to this day. But the thing is, you don't really hear a lot about Kanye's dad until recently. Now, his dad is apparently, he has a water and something, I don't even know. But I guess his dad has some type of water purification in Dominican Republic or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, yeah, I mean, it's just dope, man. It's just dope just to see how Kanye and Joel Osteen kind of sat down, and they were standing up, just kind of talking about, the goodness of God, and how, addiction and different things in life, and how, he's awake now, and everybody has a different walk with God. And one of the biggest takeaways, and I'm gonna leave you all with this, is, it's not good to compare ourselves so much to, like, the worst person all the time, or like, you know what I'm saying, like, always being like, well, I'm not gonna do right because look at them. And you're not supposed to really compare yourself to the worst. And he used Michael Jordan as an example. He's like, Michael Jordan was the best player to wear number 23. Don't argue, LeBron, blah, 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 but whatever, you get the point. You have to compare yourself to the best. Nobody compares himself to the worst. So the best in this situation would be Jesus. So you compare yourself to Jesus, and you try to push yourself to be as much closer to that than you do to just look at the guy who's not doing anything with himself and be like, oh, well, he's not bad. So, my mom, yo. Anyway, so, yeah. You have to just, and then, yeah, they pretty much just ended with, accepting Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And I thought that was very, very, very good as well. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Like, do I believe in God? Yes. Do I go to church? Yes. And do I read my Bible? Yes. But I am by far not the best person out there. I am not perfect. I don't even try to claim to even say I'm perfect. I'm trying to be better, but I know I got a lot of things that I struggle with as well. And, he did talk about addictions and things like that. And we all have them. We all have something that we are addicted to, whether it's trying to please other people. We're addicted to acceptance, whether it's our friends and family or parents, or even a school and job. Some people are addicted to their jobs, where they put their job before anything else, even before themselves. Obviously you got the regular stuff. You got drinking and drugs and even pornography and things like that. So there's all different types of ways that people can be addicted. It doesn't have to necessarily just be a thing. It could be something that's inside. You could be addicted to lying, which is just not as good either. Some people are just addicted to trying to please others so much that they put themselves in the back, and they are so quick to try to help everybody else. You know what I mean? Even people that care and people that don't care, and it's good to help others, whether, you're getting something out of it or not. But, that's just kind of like my takeaway from all of that. So when you get a chance, definitely check out the, Sunday service at Lakewood. If anything, I'll just leave the link in the description. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you guys want me to talk about next time, or if there's anything else that you guys feel. Leave some comments, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about this type of stuff, I really enjoy doing this. So I'm going to try to make it cool, try to make it fun. And yeah.